Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a pretty ordinary herb actually, chives or Allium sconoprasum.
Right, our sources today cover this really cool spring project by Kesser and Steen from a Nature and Innovation class.
Yeah, they basically took a single bunch of chives, divided them, potted them up, and just set off this entire chain reaction of gardening lessons.
It's amazing, and our mission today is to explore how this one simple plant offers a masterclass in culinary delight, backyard ecology, and sustainable gardening.
Okay, let's unpack this because I feel like we are so used to treating our groceries as these one and done transactions. You buy a bunch of fresh herbs, use half, and then, just watch the rest wilt in the crisper drawer.
Yeah, it's a highly linear, short-term relationship with the things we eat. But Kesser and Steen's project completely disrupts that mindset. It shows how a single purchase can become this endless, self-sustaining loop.
Starting with the immediate culinary benefits, right? And that immediate gratification is just fantastic. I mean, chives are incredibly forgiving. They thrive in full sun, partial shade, as long as you have well-draining soil.
Yeah, they are the ultimate cut-and-come-again plant. The underlying biological mechanism here is something called a basal meristem.
Wait, basil what?
Basal meristem.
Hmm.
Unlike a lot of plants that grow from the tips of their shoots, chives actually grow from the base.
Oh, I see.
So if you snip those hollow, dark green, tubular leaves just like 5 centimeters from the soil, they rapidly regenerate.
It's basically a botanical subscription box that never stops delivering. You just keep swapping out the solar panels, but the battery at the root stays completely intact.
That is a great way to look at it. And culinarily, they provide this brilliant, delicate onion flavor. But timing is critical here. Our sources emphasize adding them at the very end of the cooking process.
Right, like as a garnish on creamy soups or eggs.
Exactly. The reason is chemical. Chives rely on volatile sulfur compounds for that fresh bite. Prolonged heat rapidly breaks those compounds down.
Leaving you with that dull, grassy taste rather than a sharp flavor profile.
Exactly. It totally ruins it.
That explains why they play such a starring role in raw applications. You see this in classic Danish cuisine, like smørbrød, a dense piece of bread layered with potatoes and just showered in fresh chives.
Or tossed into a summer potato salad. Oh, it's so good. But what's fascinating here is how Kesser and Steen shifted from just culinary use to an ecological strategy. They intentionally grew way too many plants.
Right, they wanted an endless supply of herbs, but they specifically designed the system so they couldn't possibly harvest all of them. But let me push back on that gardening logic for a second.
Sure.
If space is limited, isn't letting a plant go unharvested and eventually flower just a massive waste of the plant's energy and the soil nutrients?
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you just maximize your leaf harvest and buy a 50-cent packet of seeds next year?
Well, it definitely looks inefficient if you are only measuring leaf output. But the systemic value is huge. When you leave those unharvested chives alone, they produce beautiful, pom-pom-like purple-pink flowers.
They really are pretty.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, those blooms feed beneficial insects and bees during a crucial spring window. You are feeding the local ecosystem, which then pollinates the rest of your garden.
Here's where it gets really interesting. By deliberately neglecting a few plants and letting them flower, are Kesser and Steen basically setting up nature's insurance policy? Let's hear how they're going to harvest some seeds from the chive plants they divided and potted up this spring.
Yeah, they apply ancient seed-saving principles directly to a modern container garden. It's really clever. Once those pollinated flowers wither and dry out completely...
Assuming they have good ventilation, right?
Right. Good airflow is essential.
Right.
But once they're dry, you literally just hold a box under the plant, snip off the flower head, and give it a shake.
And the dried florets just act like tiny prepackaged seed dispensers.
Exactly. The black seeds easily fall free. While it does take a little longer to grow the next batch from seed compared to dividing a mature root cluster, you're securing next season's crop without spending another dime.
So if a wild boar tears through your garden or a late frost wipes out your main crop, you have an immediate backup plan ready to sow.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you listening? It is really about permaculture thinking in a single pot. By doing less, by intentionally neglecting to harvest every single leaf, Kesser and Steen achieved more.
Yeah. One divided plant provided immediate food for their meals, supported local pollinators, and generated its own seeds for the future. It proves that even small-scale container gardening doesn't have to be a straight line to the compost bin. It can be a closed, regenerative circle.
I love that. And I want to leave you with one final thought from our sources to mull over today. We mentioned those beautiful purple-pink chive blossoms earlier.
Yeah.
Well, they're actually entirely edible. You can use them to add a pop of color to salads, or even steep them to make a gorgeous chive-infused vinegar. It really makes you wonder, what other decorative parts of our everyday foods are we completely ignoring that could actually be our next favorite ingredient?